And we're live. And,
What's going on?
I always kind of wonder when you go see a band, they say it's a live band. I've never been any place yet that they've had a dead band on the stage. So it's like when you go live, it's like I'm going to go dead. Like really? Like how do you do that?
Do you like
Or
the
live music?
was it Looney? Yeah, do you like the Looney Tunes? You remember the frog? The frog would like dance around, and then when it would stop and people were paying attention, they started kicking its legs around.
So
Yeah.
yep. So how's Mike doing?
How's Robin? You read my mind. I'm doing all right, other than doing slip and slide on the floor in here. But how about you?
What are you doing that for?
It wasn't by choice. It wasn't by choice. New sock and slick floor equals slip and slide.
Yep. Yeah, you need to get those little gripper socks. Notice I said sock and not sock.
Yeah, I need to do that for sure, especially after that. How's Robin?
It's not bad. Had to go down and get the trailer loaded, get ready for the next trip this weekend. So get that out of the way tonight. So.
Trip number 2000.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, how's things going at Rhodes?
Good. Staying busy, and more bookings and stuff coming up, and it's keeping pretty busy for the most part. Public investigations coming up, and of course, we're doing the thing with the Asher Walton house, just down the block, I should say, on this block. Busy. And of course, as Robin has it at the bottom of the screen there, you can feel free to go to rhodeshotel.com and look up any of the public investigations or the ones that we have, like the one I should say so far that we have down there with the Asher Walton house that we still have tickets for. So how's Robin doing?
Oh, we're keeping busy. We've in fact, I just got a message tonight from somebody, and I just kind of threw it out on our Facebook page. If anybody's interested, this Friday night, we actually have an opening now because the group that was coming had to cancel, and so they're not going to be there. So if anybody's interested, Friday night, get a hold of me, and we'd be glad to get you in there. The next Friday night that's open after this Friday night is November 11th. So
wow.
So so it's gonna be a while. So so if you want a Friday night, this is the one.
I was just getting ready to ask how far ahead you're booked up.
Yeah, quite a ways. Yeah, Jamie, it's I think it's like around 90 degrees or something like that right around here, and it's supposed to get warmer this week, and it's supposed to be. It's gonna be fun. I always kind of look to see what the temps are going to be like at Ashmore, and it's 89 to 91 this week, and also but it is what it is. You just kind of deal with it.
Yep, and, it's nice and toasty, right?
Yep. I also kind of want to mention too, for anybody that knows that keep her in your thoughts. Rowana Ray has a Para Cafe 101 over in Winchester, Indiana. And it had a pretty bad fire a couple nights ago, and I think that was Sunday night.
I think it was Sunday night.
I forget which night it was, and I think it was. It was one of those. I may have been over the weekend because I asked her if there was anybody there, but she had a pretty big fire there that some of the third floor bathrooms ended up in her office on the first floor, so everything inside is pretty much collapsed. It's in pretty bad shape. So she's not sure what she's going to do. I've been talking to her quite a bit and trying to help her out or give her some advice or talk to her a little bit about insurance wise where she's at with things. And but it's not sure where she's going to go. What's going to happen, if it's going to end up, if she's going to put it back or if she's going to be able to. Which it's tough with these structures. And I've talked about that before. If something happens to Rhodes Hotel like that, you can't just build another building and say, hey, Rhodes is back up to 2022 edition.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. It sucks that that's happened. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, the building is the interior of the building is probably a total loss. The exterior is in good shape. It's still there. It's a brick building. I think structurally the outside of it's in pretty good shape. It's still good. I don't know how much I can really say. I mean, Rose told me a lot of stuff that's going on, but it's just it's going to be a tough decision to see what she wants to do with it because there was so much damage done on the inside, and what you have to, the easiest way to think about these things is kind of like an oven. If you have your oven and something catches fire in your oven, it's going to burn like crazy. The outside of the oven's fine, but everything on the inside's toast. And that's what that building like. It's all wood floors, wood walls, but it just had brick around the outside. So it may look great on the outside until you open the door, you look in, you look straight up, you're 3 floors up, you can probably see the roof because all those floors are all wooden. And I do know that they pulled the fire department back and did, as we call it, the fire rescue type business, surround and drown. Basically, you're just doing a defensive attack so that nobody gets hurt. And so that's what they end up having to do is just trying to stay back, try to contain it, keep it from spreading, and let it burn on the inside because it wasn't safe to go on the inside to do anything. So hopefully, she'll be able to figure something out with it, and so it works out for her. But yeah, it's a tough thing to go through right now for her, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sucks.
And but there's not much you can do, and just kind of wait and see what happens and all. She'll have engineers come out and take a look at everything, and the insurance department will all be out there, and insurance company, and they'll figure out something for her and kind of go from there with it. So it just sucks to have to go through all that stuff. And, even if you have the insurance dollars.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. That's
horrible. I've been in quite a few total losses and been catastrophic type losses like that with fire and everything, and it's never fun. It's just not fun at all. I mean, we had one here when we lost part of the building here in the back. We had to tear it down. It was pretty bad, but the fire loss is the worst. Because you lose so much stuff in a fire loss.
Yeah,
it's just tough.
It's horrible.
In these old buildings, it's hard to see them. You hate to see them go just because of for what they mean to everybody. And that was one of those structures that just like that.
Yeah, it was a really old building, wasn't it? I don't remember the year on that, but I mean, it was a really old building.
Now, I want to say it's like 150 years old or something like that. I mean, I think I remember something about they talked about Civil War, Union type stuff that they had meetings there or something. I mean, it's pretty old, and it's been up for quite a while. So
it's crazy.
Well, you can probably bring Tim in and get things rolling with Tim and see what he's been up to.
Sounds like a plan.
Make sure he's not doing anything in here. Yeah. Okay. Nope. I don't see Tim doing anything. Anything we shouldn't be doing. So with Tim, you never know. You just gotta be safe. Hey, sir, how are you doing?
Thank you for bringing the mood back up a little bit. I just want to send my thoughts out to Roanna also, and hope there's an ending there that is okay for everybody.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tough one. I mean, especially after she gets done doing a lot of work to that place, and then you got to think about starting all over again. And I mean, I know if I had that problem at Ashmore Estates, fortunately, I really can't have a fire out there. I can, but it's going to be contained pretty much because there's not much wood in that structure at all, other than window frames. And then what I did in the bathrooms and everything, that's about it. But there's no floors. My floors are all concrete, so they're not going to burn. But it's just she's lost about everything out there, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So you just got done with a big event out in New York.
I did. I'm never making that drive again. I will tell you that.
I was kind of wondering when I saw you driving. I'm like, really? Why? It's like you think you might want to fly.
So. It saved me a lot of money driving, but it was about a 12-hour drive there, which I split up over 2 days, and then on the way back, I just went all the way through 12 hours. And Yeah, I got to see a lot of the country that I have not seen before from the highway. So that was, pretty cool, and it's a beautiful area out there. But now I've seen it, so the next time we're flying.
Been there,
I
done
don't-
that. So next time you're taking the easy way,
Yeah.
right?
But it was pretty incredible. We had an event at Hinsdale House for Pawtographs, and I think the total is still going up. We're at somewhere around $2,700 now.
That's awesome.
Dan has a birthday fundraiser out there that keeps getting money here, so
Ah.
we're not going to close it until the end of that. But we're at about 2,700. A very successful event. People had a great time, and the house was active, so no complaints here.
Good deal. Is that the first time you've been to Hinsdale? It is, isn't it?
No, this is my third time there. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a second event there, and then the one other time we went out with a couple of teammates and investigated the house for a weekend. It's one of those things where you always hear, people leave the Hinsdale House and they're like, "Well, I'm obsessed with that building. I love that building." I really do. I love that building. I go back there and it feels like home. And there was a lot of activity and a lot of great people that got together. We sold 27 tickets for the investigation, and those people got together. Much like Ashmore earlier this year, Robin, when we had what some would say was a small crowd, but we ended up raising $2,500. So it's not about the size of the crowd; it's the people that are there and how much they want to help the cause. So we couldn't do it without those folks.
Yep, that's in fact. I always tell everybody that there's my father-in-law many years ago, and then I keep it right here. My dad Sherry sent me this. And that's, I don't know if you can see it or if it's the glare, but it says a lot of teaspoons fill the bathtub.
Yes,
and that's what happens to these events. It doesn't make any difference if you raise $500 or $5,000. It just keeps adding up.
Yeah, and it makes the everybody there has a sense of pride, going home, because you know how much we've raised, where it's going. The shelter was out there. They were so very grateful, fantastic people, and just the area is beautiful, and I can't say enough good things. It's been a good year for Pawtographs for Pooches, and hoping to end the year strong. And the next one's Michigan Paracon.
I think it's
Now,
awesome.
For some people that may not be familiar with it, tell everybody a little bit about what Pawtographs does.
Well, Pawtographs was formed in 2013. At the time, as kind of a way to create a legacy for Murray. And for those that don't know Murray, that was my rescue pup that I got in 2006. He was beaten pretty badly by his previous owners. And I ended up talking the shelter into coming and letting me visit him and see if things would work. And they worked out unbelievably. In 2007, early 2007, I was really dealing with some personal issues, going through a lot of depression, anxiety, and attempted to take my own life. And the only reason I'm here is because Murray walked into that room and put his head on my arm. And from that moment, it was father and son. It wasn't owner and dog. And I started to get more opportunities to do events, and they give you a table and you can sell whatever you want at those events. And I thought, let's do something where we give back and we create a legacy for Murr. I wanted people to know what he had done for me. At the end of the day, there's no playbook for this. I mean, how do you thank somebody that saved your life? So I did it the best way that I could. And we created Pawtographs for Pooches. In the beginning, it was, we're going to have pictures of Murray and I, and he's going to photograph them. And I still got the stamp that we made of his paw sitting right here.
Cool.
And we would stamp those photos, and then I would personalize them at events, and we'd sell those for $10. The first event we did in Wisconsin, we sold one photo. We raised $10 for the local shelter. A little bit of humble pie there, but everybody has to start somewhere. And things just kind of started to snowball. I mean, events like Little Traverse Bay Parafest got behind the idea. Winnipeg Paracon got behind the idea. And, soon we were making $100, $200. We we kind of dipped our toe into doing shirts a while back, and those didn't go over so well. Eventually, we brought that back with a better style and a more better graphics, and those are selling really well. And I got to give credit to John Cassidy, because he's the one that said to me, we should start doing exclusive events for Pawtographs, and all of the ticket sales and the proceeds can go to the shelter. And we started doing that. And the first event we tried, we made like $740. The second event was about $1,500, and then lo and behold, the last two events in Michigan, we did $12,000 and $11,000 respectively. So the paranormal field grabbed hold of this and wouldn't let it fail. And the reason that this succeeds is the paranormal field. So people that tell me there's bad people in the paranormal field, I don't want to hear it. There's fantastic people, and this doesn't succeed without their help and the time that they volunteer and the great folks that go to these events. So unfortunately, Murray passed away in 2019, but we continue to push forward. And it's important to me that we continue to grow Pawtographs. And later this year, I think we're going to cross $100,000 in total funds raised. Depends on how that last event of the year goes, but it's become a passion that I can't give up on. And so many people have wrapped their arms around it and haven't let it fail. And like I said, I can't do this alone. So there's a lot of people. If I thanked everybody I had to thank, it would take the entire hour. But I'm a really grateful person that we've been able to do this. And every time I get time on one of these shows or something, it's always real nice too. You potentially open yourself up to a new audience, and every event is a new opportunity to reach somebody. We're not only helping animals, but when I share my story, we're helping people too. Because a lot of people look at me and go, hey, this guy's got everything going for him. There's a lot of days I wake up and my brain says, I hate you. And I think that's important, that we can talk about that stuff and talk about mental health and depression and anxiety and get people to stop hiding it and get the help they want and need. And that's really long answer to your simple question, but that's what Pawtographs is.
No, that's not a long answer whatsoever. It takes some time to explain to people exactly what you're doing.
I think it's awesome what you've done with everything and how it's grown.
Thank you. And we do events, and people want to give me, a lot of credit for doing this. And I'm like, hey, there's other folks in this field that are doing great things too with charities. And Mike, yours is always the first one that I speak of. In fact, at Hinsdale House this weekend, I brought you up and said that you're doing great things. So I really admire what you've done with that. And actually, it was an honor of mine to be involved in the event in February and raise some money for those kids. So
I appreciate it for sure.
It's always nice to see you at an event, and the great thing is we're not fighting over people. They can help us.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's all kinds of support out there for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned the paranormal people have been really backing it, and that's the same thing that with Mike's. I mean, they back that tremendously. And we did the one that you were at and spoke at, which we were really appreciative this past February here at the theater, and that thing's been sold out for the last 5, 6, 7 years. This is coming up to our 10th year, and it's sold out. It sold out that same day. At the event this year. So it's but yeah, everybody just enjoys trying to help, and I think that's what was nice too. Is when you got a venue that's working and trying to do something to help a charity. I think people appreciate it, and I personally like to do, and you've kind of done the same thing too, Tim. Is I like to let people know right then what we've done, versus walking away and then you never know where that money went or what happens to it. There's a lot of deceit out there, and I applaud for how you do the same thing that I'm doing. Is you let everybody know right there at the event, this is what we've done.
I appreciate that, and that's important to me because I want people to know where their money's going and what it's going towards, and exactly how much we raised. And I get some people like will give me a hard time over continually updating the overall total. When we started this, there was no goal. We didn't have any goals. We didn't know what to expect, and here we are, we're at give or take 91,500 at this point. And I want to set those goals because those people that are at the event, they can see, hey, this is the weekend that we might pass $100,000. And I don't know how Mike feels about this, but every darn event I do, I lose a bunch of money because I want to so badly raise money for the animals. So I don't mind it though, but people that look at me or look at Mike and go, hey, you guys are making a lot of money for those charities, wink, wink. We're both actually losing money at what we love to do. So, and we wouldn't keep doing it if that wasn't the case.
Yep. And it's like, that's what I always tell people, like when we help kids, I put the kids out there, not because I'm trying to use them in some other way. You know what I mean? Like, not doing it for like a promotion thing. I do it because I show people like, hey, this is the kid that we're helping. This is where your money's going. So they see what's, the outcome from the donations and stuff. I think
exactly.
like it's important.
And on a bit of a light note, maybe I can talk Robbin into telling the story from DeadCon, where I got to meet one of those kids that you've been helping. It was humbling, to say the least.
I remember that.
Good old Robbie. Yeah, Robbie,
Mm-hmm.
who and I forget, Mike, maybe you remember what the disease is called that Robbie has, but
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair, but he actually is able to run the wheelchair because he's lost both arms. He's able to run the wheelchair with his feet, which have also been kind of, I don't want to say crippled, but they're disformed, so to speak. So, but yeah, Tim was out there talking to us, and Robbie's over there, and Robbie's I think he just turned 6 right before that event. And he took to Tim. He said, "Here, you come with me." He's like, "Okay." So Tim's kind of nice guy, following him around. Yeah, I'll walk over here. And Robbie's on his little cart with his toes down there, taking him over there. He's like, "You stay right here," and then pretty much, and then he leaves him. It's like, "Here, go, just stay away from us over here." And so
he didn't want anything to do with me.
I remember that.
Yep, it was pretty funny, and but yeah, Robbie's a good little kid, but yeah, he's just got a super mind of his own, and he's done that to me too, though, Tim. So don't feel bad. We were over at Rhodes Hotel one time, and I said something to him, and he looks at me. He's like, "Robbin, I'm 5 years old." Like, I guess he thought I was saying like he was like a 2-year-old or something. Like, I'm 5 years old, dude. Yeah, I know how this handles. Like, sorry, Robbie. I didn't mean to.
I was
disrupted there, bud.
I was laughing about that the rest of the weekend, though. I got punked by a 6-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's people. There are some comments in there, so.
Yeah.
Now you've got another the event come up in September. Do you have another one before that, or is that the next one?
The next event I'll be at is Michigan Paracon, and then I'll be in Mattoon, Illinois, once again for SilCon. And the next Pawtographs exclusive event is in Ripon. And that one has Dustin Perry, Chris Williams, Shane Pittman, and a cast of others, including myself. And that's the event that if all goes well, we're gonna pass $100,000, and there will be bowling and alcohol, and I'm not responsible for how that night goes.
If you ever need a designated driver, just give me a call. I don't drink, so you're safe.
I'm playing it safe this year. I'm getting myself a hotel room right in Ripon. It's a small town, so I'll be able to walk from the bowling alley over to the hotel and do it the responsible way. But you guys have met Todd. I think Robbin has. I'm not sure if Mike has, but Todd. Basically, I looked at Todd and I said, if we pass $100,000, you're babysitting. And and he looked at me and he goes, "We're gonna have to find somebody else to babysit the both of us because he's gonna celebrate just as much as I am." That's one thing that Todd is. He's helped me run the paranormal team for almost 15 years, but he's been like a brother to me. The minute Murray passed away, Todd was at the house. Jimmy and Michelle were at the house, just fantastic friends of mine. And for the last 4 years, our place of employment gives us a $2,500 match for any donation to a nonprofit. So Todd has used that $2,500 for 4 years now. So 10,000 of that is because Todd is a part of this too. So he's just as proud of all of this as I am, and we share in the celebration. So come September, we're going to have a fantastic time.
And that's true with Dana. She will have whatever stupid moves you do. She'll have it on film.
She's going to. I don't know if she'd ever share it though, because I got a photo she doesn't like so much. So.
Oh yeah, one of those kind of like a chip coffee photo that he has of her that he kind of puts out there when he needs to. There must be a story behind this.
This weekend we got back to the hotel. I was sharing a room with Tim Woolworth, and he had brought along bourbon, and I hate bourbon. And he gave me a couple shots in a glass, and it took me an hour and a half to drink it. Every time I tried to take a drink, I was choking on it and making these noises, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, I'm not a bourbon guy. I'm not.
So yeah, Tim and Mike do a great job of putting those two fundraisers together with the charities that they're working with. So it's nice to see that they've both been able to accomplish so much with those charities.
Yeah, well, there's all that support in the paranormal field, just like Tim just said. There's so much support there. That helps us do what we do with both charities.
I've been asked by people outside of the paranormal field, why does it have to be a paranormal event? And it doesn't have to be anymore. We do golf tournaments now. Murray's got his own golf tournament. So, not everything is paranormal, but the way I explain it is the paranormal field has given so much to me in the time that I've been in it. This is the platform that I've been given. So I'm going to run with it. And in return, I hope that I'm an advocate for the paranormal field, and I hope that I'm somebody that, people look at within the field and go, hey, this guy's not so bad.
Yep, I can understand that completely. And I always think you're a great guy that you see events, and you're just somebody you can sit and talk to, and not there's no starstruck type stuff that's things like that you have to worry about. It's like you run the events like that, and it's like it's just a chance to sit down and talk to people. It's great to have you at the events and doing things like that.
Hey, little known fact with Robin, we've been friends for quite a while. You tried 3 times to let me use Ashmore Estates for a Pawtographs event before we finally made it work. We just couldn't sell tickets for an animal event in Illinois. And then this last time I brought in Dustin Perry, and boom, the thing sold out. So I think we found the secret, but just really thankful to you for never giving up on us and allowing us to do that event. And just, there's a lot of locations that have been very, very helpful to us. You're certainly on the top of that list, and Dan Class is right up there too. It doesn't work unless, people work with us, and I'm one big ball of emotion. I'm a grateful guy. And, like I said, just want to do the things that make this field get a better name. Cause a lot of people talk about all the drama. They don't talk enough about the good things that are happening.
I agree. Yeah, I agree for sure.
You
talk about
I didn't get a chance to come over and see you guys when you had the event there. I was busy over there building the house, trying to get some of the walls up and stuff like that done. So I was busy over there, but try to get over there at night just to at least to talk to you guys a little bit there as you're kind of wrapping stuff up before the investigation. On Saturday. So, but yeah, I was glad that it pulled it off. It started to, I've we've never canceled an event there, and it just kind of got discouraging. It's like, oh man, are you kidding me? And there was two comments that were made over the course of those years that we were trying to do this. Somebody had had mentioned, was the venue charging you too much? And I was so glad to see, because I was ticked when I saw that, and I didn't want to respond to it, but you did, and I appreciate you doing that. Then somebody else made a comment to me. He's like, I can't believe you're going to let them come back there, because he made a comment about what Eleanor doesn't like dogs or something to that effect. I'm like, I said, if Tim said that, he was joking about it. That wasn't like he meant that or anything, but it was more in just a joke about it. So
I like to deal with stress with humor, and I remember that very vividly. I posted on Facebook, tongue in cheek, since Illinois has told us that they don't love dogs, we're going to have to cancel this event. And there were a couple of people that took me seriously and were not happy with me. And those folks need to take their life a little less seriously and take a joke every once in a while. But I'm very grateful you let us do the event, and now we got that under our belt, and we can say we weren't a complete failure.
It went well, and you guys, it's kind of nice. You can just turn you guys loose in there, because I just went across the way, and Terry was there to help out if you guys need anything. But I'm just like, I gotta go to the house and build stuff, have a good time. So
yeah, we had a great weekend.
Something I noticed earlier, you made a post, something about you might have some kind of announcement, maybe tonight, possibly.
I was going to break
something. Kind of wondering if that's going to happen tonight, maybe before the end of the show, or
well, we can do it right now. I've got a couple of events for 2023. Tickets are not on sale yet, but they should be by the end of the month. We're going to do our Pawtographs Parafest 4 this year, and this time it's going to be from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we're going to be doing the oh man, I can't remember the darn the darn animal shelter. I think it's a Huron Valley Humane Society, I believe. We raised some money for them when we were there last November, and got a chance to visit them, and it was an outstanding operation that they run there. So I was very happy to be able to do that. So March 4th, we're going to be there. The 3 headliners for us at that event are going to be Dustin Perry, Dan Class, and then the godfather of the paranormal, John Zaffis. So John Zaffis joins the Pawtographs family. I'm very grateful for that. It's our 4th Pawtographs Parafest, this time in Ann Arbor. Bigger area. I can get in a day early and go check out the big house, because at heart I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan. And then March 18th, we're doing an event in Wisconsin, Pembine, Wisconsin, and that's at the Four Seasons Resort. Like I said, in Pembine, Wisconsin. We're going to be working with those folks and doing some tours and investigations in the fall. Had a really good meeting with them earlier this year, and they asked if we would be the people that would run those things for us. And I told them what we do with Pawtographs, and they said, here's the building. So they're letting us have the building for free, and we're going to raise a lot of money. We have yet to firm up a shelter that we're donating there. So all of those things are very good things. Unfortunately, we don't have tickets ready to go yet because we don't have the lineup for the 18th all set. But very excited. 2023 is going to start out with a bang, and hopefully we'll keep the momentum going.
When did you say Pembine was?
March 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm putting on 2 giant events 2 weeks apart, and if Tim ends up in the hospital on the 20th of March, we all know why.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to get the van up there to one of your events, and hopefully one that's a little closer than 7 or 8 hours away.
Yes, I agree.
You do that, I'll do the 3-legged Scooby again. Just saying. It's only got 3 legs, but we made it work.
Pembine's not too far from my kids. And,
Pembine's an hour and a half north of me, so it would take you about 7.5 hours to get there. Well, more than that. More than that.
The van, probably closer to 8.5 to 9. So yeah, I have to make gas stop that every 200 miles. So it's actually the one in Michigan's even about an hour closer in Ann Arbor. But the other thing I have to always worry about too is like doing stuff like that in March and everything is snow.
Oh yeah, we've gotten so lucky. We've done events the last 3 years in March. First of all, we got lucky with COVID because we were the last event to do anything, and then COVID shut everything down the week after in 2020. And then we were one of the first events to come back in 2021. So we didn't miss a year with Pawtographs Parafest. But we did make the crowds smaller in 2021. We kept down the capacity to try to keep everybody safe. But in Ripon, we're back to trying to fill the place up. And next year in Michigan, and also in Pembine, we'll be trying to do the same thing and raise as much money as we can for the animals.
Yeah, we got kind of fortunate like that too with the February event, because we had ours in February, and then everything shut down like a month later.
Yeah.
And then the next year we were actually allowed to be open, but we had to have a certain number in Illinois. You're only allowed 50 people at a location, so we split it between two different buildings. Had it at the firehouse, that's actually I'm trustee with the fire department. So we had it at the firehouse and we had it at the theater, and our speakers basically spoke at one place. Then they went back over to the other place and spoke there too. So we flip-flopped speakers back and forth. And so they had to put their, basically their presentation on twice during the day, which most of them nobody had a problem with that anyway. But yeah, so you try to do that. But then this past year when you were there, then we were kind of like back to normal, so to speak, with everything.
Yeah, I was really impressed. That place was full, and you have a beautiful garage.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's yeah, people, they're like, you have this in your garage? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, we're not going to go sit in a garage. And they're like, oh, it's a little different than some. It's not as fancy as some garages, but it's not the typical garage either.
It's like a full building within itself. It's like first time I went over and I was just like, yeah, so this is your garage. You sure this isn't like half of the building you just kind of hollowed out and like made it a garage or something?
Let's not forget that I also won a Barbie at that event.
That's right. Yeah, you did win a Barbie. In fact, I couldn't believe it when I called the number out and you're like, yeah, that's mine. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. It's like somebody else like, no, really, it's mine. And it's like, so you still had your Barbie?
No, I gave it to a little girl named Abby at that event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had put tickets in there for it. And let's face it, a 47-year-old man does not need a Barbie. So I made sure she got that. So it has a good home.
Not without explaining things to a lot of people.
Yes.
Those special people start going through your computer and everything before too much longer. So yeah,
I'm going to ask one of my questions right now. Oh, go ahead.
What's that? No, I said I think we do have a pretty good. I got a couple of pictures around with you and the Barbie, though. I think those are still floating around someplace.
Yeah, there is photographic evidence. Don't get that to Dana.
Exactly.
You can do like Jay Lynch did at the one event at Ashmore and dress up like a Barbie.
I draw the line somewhere for the animals. There's things I won't do.
Now wait a minute. I've seen you in some clothing for movies that you had your starring role in.
That was a long time ago, and it was a dark moment in my life, and the good thing is nobody watches those movies anyway.
We shared those dark moments together, and we're both glad that nobody watches those movies.
So I'm going to ask one of my questions now. If you could investigate any location in the world, where would you investigate at?
Usually when I get this question, I always answer the next residential case that calls, because that's still the most important to me. The building that really intrigues me the most is the White House, and I know it'll never happen, but there's so much history there and so many stories that have kind of leaked out over the years about things that are happening. So I think the White House, but something more realistic. We'll go with realism. I never made it out to the Stanley, and I'd like to go out to the Stanley Hotel someday.
We're lucky enough. We did two Lost Limbs Foundation events out there. I think it was 2013 and 2014. Robin was out there. It was in 14, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep, on the second
Robin
one.
come out for that one. Yeah, we hadn't known each other very long.
Yeah. It doesn't even need to be an event for me. I just kind of want to experience it and be there. There's other places like St. Augustine Lighthouse. I've been in love with that place since the moment I saw it on Ghost Hunters. It was funny because I forgot all about Dustin Perry being on Ghost Hunters for that episode. Dustin and I are really good friends, and he's just Dustin to me now. So we were just hanging out, driving back to the hotel after Ashmore. I think he was telling us the story from that case, and it dawned on me like, oh man, yeah, you were there. Let's talk about it. Yeah, that's one of those places too that I'd love to get an opportunity to go and check out.
The answer on Barbie.
Abby's a wonderful kid. Brandy's fantastic too. They're great people. And I have those friendships because of the event I did in February. So, like I said, every event you walk into, you end up meeting somebody that you didn't know was going to be there and you didn't know you were going to click with. And I met a lot of those folks in February, and I'm very grateful for that.
That was kind of one of those reasons we put the event together, was basically people started getting a little cabin fever, and it was kind of nice to start that and just a chance to talk and people. That's why we do the lunch thing and all, so nobody has to leave. They're all there. They can hang around. They can talk, and speakers come in, and this year it'll be, or I should say next year it'll be kind of fun because we're doing a Friday and Saturday. We've never done that, but we're gonna do a Friday and a Friday evening. And then a Saturday, and then a Saturday evening. So we haven't done it like that. So this is the first time we're going to do it. This will be the 10th one. So we're kind of looking forward to doing that. It'll be fun.
That event that you do, and I'm going to guess that the Lost Limbs events are a lot like this too, or all of them, was a lot like the Pawtographs events. And I always tell people it's so much different than a regular paranormal event, because a regular paranormal event, it's everybody's kind of out for themselves. Everybody's got their own agenda, their own goals, what they want to do for the weekend. I went to that Lost Limbs event and it felt like home because everybody there had that one goal in mind. And hey, let's raise as much money as we can for Lost Limbs today. And it's the same when you go to a Pawtographs event. Everybody's got that one goal. And I think that's what makes those events special. And I'm really happy I got a chance to experience that Lost Limbs event because, it felt like home. It felt like I was just at a Pawtographs event, but it was the money was going to a great cause nonetheless, and just real happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I got to make it to one of the Pawtographs events now, so I can experience that because I've yet to make it to one.
Robin can pick you up on the way to the one in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, there you
go. There we go.
That one's it's not too far out of the way, but yeah, it's that was only like 6.5 hours. But if it wasn't for the I'd almost think about doing it, except I'd just be a little worried about the snow around Lake Michigan and everything. But I'm gonna have to watch the schedule and see what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we do an event up in Grand Rapids, Michigan each year. We're doing a Comic Con up there, and I always tell the guy, I'm like, if there's any chance of snow, it's not coming. It's like, he said, well, I'll put you in an enclosed trailer. I'm like, I'm not worried about the snow hitting the van. I'm worried about the van hitting the highway. So it's like, no, it's got to be on my trailer. I don't need to be sliding off the road or something.
Yeah, that's always my fear too, and especially with doing events in, the beginning of March and mid-March. Not only the people driving there, but the people flying in. Especially with the way that the airlines have been this year. So far we've dodged bullets with no snowstorms, and everybody but Tepperman has been able to make it to the event. We'll just leave that one where it is.
Yeah, that's probably good. Next question.
Next question.
Yeah, going to the snow thing though. Going to the snow though, it's like even like in Indiana, when we did the one did one of the events. Grant and Chad were here. We were doing an event, and this was the end of March. And I thought, it won't be too bad. We ended up like day 2, I think it was. We started getting snow, and I was like, just never know.
I did John Cassidy's event in Petoskey, Michigan. I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, and we had 3 inches of snow Friday and Saturday night in October. So you're not safe in October either. So I'll roll with the punches in March, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, it snowed around here before in October too, so you just never know what's going to happen. And actually, this year in February, we had a lot of people cancel because they had snow in different areas of the country that they couldn't get here. South around St. Louis, they couldn't get here, and you and Tim come down. It's like 7 or 8 hour drive or whatever it was, and it's like, yeah, no problem at all. It's like, yeah, you're coming from the snow area of Michigan and Wisconsin, and it came right straight through. But everybody else down south couldn't get up.
Well, fun fact about last winter. I didn't use my snowblower once. So it was a very odd winter for us in Wisconsin. When we would get snow, it wasn't more than like 2 or 3 inches at a time. And
Wow.
It's never that way. So now that I've said that, we're probably going to get about 140 inches of snow this winter. But I will take that any day over 95 and humid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my son was telling me the same thing, that he lives in Racine, Wisconsin, and he said that we didn't get much snow at all. He said, I think that we actually end up with more snow here than what they got up there. I guess, I don't know, is there a certain event that you'd like to go to that you never had a chance to get to?
Well, I got 2 answers for this one, and the one's going to get me all choked up. But event that I've never been able to go to. No, Michigan Paracon was probably my favorite, and I'm okay if it never gets bigger than that, because little known fact about me is I really don't like big crowds. My dream event though, and this one's probably gonna put people on high alert, but I don't mean it to. My dream event is the event after I pass. And what I mean by that is I got it in my head that when I pass that my dad and Murray are going to be there. And I would love nothing more than to go to one last Pawtographs event with the two of them and just kind of watch and be there to experience it in spirit form. And I know it's a bit of a morbid answer, but I don't think there would be a greater event for me ever than be able to experience one more event with Murr and be with him and just watch people get together for one more Pawtographs event. So I made it through that answer without crying. So let's do something fun now.
All right, Mike, you got to ask the other question now.
Yep. Good time for the other question, I guess, now, since we're getting later into the show. If you could, and I stole this from Jenny again, I'm going to apologize every week for this, for stealing your good question. If you could investigate with any three people, alive, already passed, or fictional, who would you pick?
You threw fictional in there. Now I got to pick Scooby-Doo. The three people I would most like to investigate with are Todd Arnold, the guy who runs Fox Cities Paranormal team with me. I've said that so many times in interviews. People ask, who's your dream partner in the paranormal? I've already got him. I got somebody that, without a doubt, is going to have my back every single time. Unless it's a bear. I found that out. If it's a bear, then he's going to leave me to die. But when you investigate with somebody for 15 years, you know them as a person inside and out. And there's not a better person on this earth than Todd Arnold. The other two, let's go with Dustin Perry, just because he's ended up being such a good friend. Geez, who's the third? I'm going to suck up here. The third one's Jason Oz. so there we are. So if this makes it back to Jason, make it happen, big guy. But yeah, I'll settle for Todd and Dustin.
So speaking of your team a little bit, because we haven't really talked about your team, we talked about Pawtographs and everything. Fox Cities Paranormal team. You guys been doing a lot of home investigations, or what do you guys do with that?
Basically, we just answer calls when they come in. So it really depends, how many emails and calls we get in the course of a year. In the beginning, there weren't so many teams in Wisconsin, and we were doing about 15 or 20 residential investigations a year. Um, all told, here in 15 years, almost, we've done about 300 residential investigations. I had activity in my home and I couldn't get help in my home. So basically the team was created for those that were looking for help and couldn't find it. So, I've told Todd this before, if I ever lose my passion for residential investigations, then it's time for us to walk away. I don't want to be chasing fame because it really doesn't exist. If you just do the work, people will figure that out and they'll notice that you're just doing the work. Right now we're doing about 4 or 5 a year. But those 4 and 5 a year, we're still able to help families. We're still able to do the work. We're still able to grow and learn. And we got some fantastic people on the team. We got an 11-person team because if I get an email on Thursday and we got to be somewhere on Saturday, I want to be able to put 2, 3, 4 people together and go help that family. So still a huge passion of mine. And anytime we have the opportunity or we get the call, we're going to do our best to be there for them. So we're working on one right now that we've been working with a family for about 3 months. And the last time we were there, it was one of those where you have so much audio and so many clips that you kind of pinch yourself and say, this can't be real. We're going to visit with them on Sunday to kind of, go through each one with them in person, try to explain it the best way we can and come up with a plan going forward where they can be comfortable. But yeah, so it's a Fox Cities Paranormal team. None of this happens without those folks and the hard work that they put in, and they make Todd and I look really good. That's where we first got the opportunity. I mean, we ended up on Paranormal Witness 2013. And through that, the doors open for conventions. So if things don't take off with Fox Cities Paranormal team, then, Pawtographs isn't a success and I'm not on this show and all that stuff. So, first and foremost, the passion is the paranormal.
You mentioned that you're only doing like 4 or 5 a year, but if you do those right, just like you said, it's going to take you some time. You don't go out and investigate and do this and come back on the following weekend or Saturday or Sunday and say, this is what we got. Have a nice day. You follow up, you kind of do stuff. And, so it takes some time to get that. And secondly, you mentioned it's like, if you don't do the residential, you're pretty much like done. If you lose that passion, I know people that have basically, they're all about wanting to be on TV so bad that they don't care about the residentials. They're like, we just want to go out there and film places and put this out there so we can get on TV. And we don't care. We'll let somebody else do the residentials. I'm like, well, you're in for the wrong reason.
And for me, as long as they don't bother with the residentials, I don't care what they do. Yeah, what I get upset about is the folks that have done 1 or 2 residentials, and then they go into a home and tell the family they got a demon. And unfortunately, that has happened way too many times. So for me, you have an obligation. If you're going to take that case, you have an obligation to that client to do the very best you can. And that's exhaust all the resources you have. I used to get a lot of grief for doing so many conferences. And honestly, my network of friends is from those conferences, and I can call on any one of those people and be able to get their help and their advice. And at the end of the day, I don't need the credit. The important thing is that the family is helped and they feel comfortable. Right. The best text message I ever got was from the case that actually ended up on Paranormal Witness. 2 days after our last investigation there, I got a text message from the mother that said, my boys slept in their room for the first time in months last night. That's the reward. That's all the reward I will ever need. And I know it sounds corny as hell to the people that don't understand it. But yeah, I mean, that's why we do this. And, and now I look back and I feel old because those kids are now out of high school. They were like 5 years old when we took that case, but they're out of high school now and they're adults and they got their own lives. But I'd like to think we helped that family out.
it's always personally gratifying when you can do something that changes the way that people observe stuff in their house, or maybe it's just something that they've done, or that they've had problems with, that you be able to help them with that. And that's why I'm involved with EMS quite a bit. And same thing with me. It's like, you're so glad that you can go out and help somebody, even if it's just for a few moments, that you can take care of it and tell them, hey, everything's going to be okay. We'll get this worked out. And same thing with the paranormal. It's following them up with them, staying with them, tell them where you're at, what you think's going on, and just following back with them.
Exactly. And like you mentioned earlier, the investigation itself is just the beginning. I mean, you have all of the review, and then you have the relationship with that family. And there are dozens of families that we have helped over the years that I'm still very close friends with. And it's impossible to keep up and follow up on all of those cases. I think I'd just be sending nonstop emails. But I make it very clear that, if you guys have issues, we're still here. I don't want to move in with you, but if you need help, we're here. So, we always leave that door open. That's very important to me, that they don't feel like we've abandoned them, because, that's not what we're about.
No, I think there's only one that I've turned down to do anything with, and the lady was going through the whole story with me, and I was like, we need to be over there now and see what's going on. Until she got to the very end, she's like, so do you think the TV shows will want this to be on their show, that they'll want to come out here and do this? I'm like, you probably need to call them, because this is not something that I'd be able to help you out with if that's what you're trying to do. And it was all about their kids were being, held hostage in this room by some demon or something. And like, it's like, first off, I'd be like moving the hell out of that house. It's like, it's a rental house, if I remember, and they didn't own it, they rented it. It's like, get your kids and get out of there. I mean, that's simple as that. They're having that much problem, because she was like, the poltergeist activity was crazy and everything. But her last statement was like, do you think the TV shows will want to pick this up? Like, yeah, boy, can we make up another story so we can try to get on TV?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That always makes you feel a little bit dirty.
Yeah. And you really don't know whether or not they're wanting just to get on TV, or if they actually have a problem.
Yeah.
And so you'd hate to abandon them, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to be part of this, TV, I want to be on TV situation. And besides that, they wouldn't let me wear shorts most of the time, probably anyway. So the hell with them.
There it is.
I've been stuck wearing shorts here since I got this cast on my foot, and I'm just thankful that it did not happen in December and January.
Oh yeah,
because my legs are not as tough as yours.
Yeah, mine had too many pucks hit them and everything else. So yeah, it's like too many times in the winter playing hockey. So
hey, I played hockey once in my life, and it was in Fayette, and it was floor hockey, and a kid reared back and hit a slap shot and hit it right off my. Well, I was I think 12 or 13 at the time, so off my little boy area, and I dropped to the ground, and my Phi-Ed teacher came over to me, and I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. He looked at me and he said, "Did it hit you in the tip?" And I said, "Mr. Searing, I'm 12 years old. It hit me in the whole thing." And I was out of hockey from that point forward. So I don't watch hockey. I don't follow hockey. And I think it all goes back to that traumatic experience where I took a slap shot off the ding ding.
Yep, I've actually seen slap shots. Yeah, I've seen those slap shots where somebody's got hit and their cup shoots straight out of their pants. It's like, and they're like, "Give me that back, quick!" It's like that. I didn't feel that. I need that back. But yeah. I've been fortunate. I haven't had that situation, but I did get most of these involvement from hockey. They're all gone. So, well, I think we're about running out of time here. So we're going to see you in next month in up in Michigan.
looking forward to
Yeah.
it. It'll be a good time. We'll have some laughs. I'm sure we'll have some hugs, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty impressed that I ended the show with a ding ding story. So yay me.
But I think you got a book out or two also. So if
I
somebody wants
do.
to pick up your book.
The last one I wrote was 6 years ago, but it's still on Amazon if people want to go check it out.
That's because it's so popular.
Yeah, it's called The Endless Road. Just look up The Endless Road by Tim Maile. I think it's $8.99 at this point. Just goes into detail. My story with Murray goes into detail. The story that I kind of referenced with the case that ended up on Paranormal Witness, some other cases we've done, my thoughts on some certain things within the paranormal field. Currently am working on another book. This one's going to be from Murray's point of view. It's going to be with his voice, and he's going to be telling his story. So I will tell you that's an incredibly difficult book to write, but we're going to get through it.
If you need Scooby-Doo to do a forward, let me know.
I will let you know.
That sounds great. But Tim, we really appreciate you joining us tonight, coming in and talking about Pawtographs for Pooches and
Yes,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Fox Cities Paranormal team and and everything you've been doing. It's great. Keep up the good work, and hopefully you'll hit that $100,000 mark this year.
I sure hope so. Thank you guys for having me on. I put it in one of the posts earlier, but Robbin and Mike, you are two of the people I have a great deal of respect for, and I've never gotten to do this show, and happy I was asked to come on the show and had a lot of fun. It went by really quick.
It did.
Yeah, it's been it did. Yeah, it went through pretty quick with things. Sometimes they drag on. Tonight hasn't dragged on because sometimes I'm like, okay, try to write down questions I can ask. Because like I'm running out of questions now. But yeah, this was kind of zipped right along. So which is good and bad. It's like you hate to walk away from it, but at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll
you
see
for
you
being
next
on
month,
with us.
and hope for the best for you guys, and especially next month up there. But then in September, when you're headed up to do the event, hopefully that puts you over the top.
I sure hope so. Like I said, that's going to be an emotional time if we do it. That's a big milestone, and we're going to celebrate. And there's bowling after that event. So even if you don't bowl, come and laugh at Dustin and Chris and Shane and myself and Todd. We did that last year. It was the first time we tried that after an event, and it was incredible. Everybody had a great time. Everybody was laughing and joking and hugging, and so we had to bring it back this year. But yeah, just it's going to be a great event. So go to pawtographsforpooches.com and get those tickets. And
Dana Stricker is going to be there too. So
she is. She's going to be there, and she's going to be begging you for that photo.
So yeah, well, she said something about it, and she wanted me to private message her too. So I guess I'll check that out, and see what she needs.
I think she wants that photo with Barbie.
Probably so.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll have to. I'll tell her we'll do a 3-way with the. I'll send her that photo, and you'll send me the other photo. And she's probably like, never mind, I don't want that Barbie photo. So Tim, once again, thanks much. Have a good evening, and we'll let you get out of here.
Thank you.
Can enjoy your night.
Thanks, guys.
Give the rest of the dogs a hug for us. All righty. Night.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Yeah, always. Tim's a great guy, and
it's
always fun to talk with him. And I've had the the privilege of being able to kind of work with him on a couple different movie sets that we did, and when we were in Michigan last year talking about those movies, and we both shared the same opinion, which is not a good one. And in fact, we had the same. It was kind of funny because when I texted up to him, I said my DVD quit playing into the movie. He's like, mine did the same thing. It's like, I think they were trying to tell us something. You don't want to watch the rest of this. So yeah. That's well. So and I don't think I put it up here, but yep. Now next week is who?
To be announced. We had to do some rearranging.
That's the one.
We had to do.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to do some rearranging. So yeah. Yep.
And
so
we'll have to get Dana Stricker to come in here and talk about Pawtographs behind the scenes stuff. We'll get her
Yeah,
to come
there
in
you
sometime
go.
and do something like that. And
There you go.
yep, and she's probably got all kinds of dirt on people like Chip Coffee and Greta and others like that too. So she hangs out with that crowd quite a bit. So I'm sure she probably has a few stories she can share with us on that.
We could just call the episode Paranormal Chat The Dirt.
Yeah, exactly. And not the drama, just the dirt.
Just the dirt.
But okay, well, I'm gonna get out of here. It's been a long day anyway in the office today, so
Yeah.
get out of here, and then next week we'll be back with TBD.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
So, yep. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Night.
If I can find it, there it is.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.